Okay, take it from someone who has a high metabolism, who fidgets like she has ants in her pants, grinds her teeth in her sleep, and has suffered from panic attacks. Well, that would be me. And all my life, I have been a nervous type. Through the years, I've had to come up with ways to calm my nervous system down. And I want to share all of those tips with you today. And I know they will help you. Okay, I've got 12 things, and let's get to it. Number one on the list, I never watch true crime stories, serial killer stuff, or even horror movies. Now, I grew up on horror movies from the 1980s, but I cannot watch those anymore. I don't know if it's age or if I just finally realized that they're not good for me. They get me too worked up. I can't go to sleep at night. You know, true crime and serial killer things. I start imagining those things could possibly really happen and they could happen to me, and they make me too nervous. So I have decided that I don't watch anything in those genres at all. Okay, number two is two-sided, and that is I have to get enough sleep so that I don't over caffeinate myself the next day. And I've learned this about me. And some days, you know, you just don't get enough sleep. That's just the way that it is. But I can easily get too much caffeine in my system, and that compounds it, and that can send me into anxiety attacks and all kinds of not so fun things. So I have to be really careful and not let myself get too much of a sleep deficit before I start correcting that. Number three is I don't watch the news. Now, I listen to the headlines on my Amazon device. I'm not going to say her name. And if there's something going on in the world or something that interests me, then I'll go dig deeper on purpose. But there's no way I'm going to just sit and let these news programs just feed the stuff that they want to feed to me, and the commercials that are on during newscasts, they're horrible. I don't watch the news. I just handpick it and curate it for the stuff that I need to know. Number four, I cannot let my house get too dirty or too cluttered. Oh, even if I'm not really paying attention to the clutter, oh, I'm paying attention to the clutter subconsciously because I can just feel it. It puts me on edge, and it makes me just think that the walls are caving in on me if there's just too much clutter around, or if there's just too many things out of place. And the same thing with if I let the house cleaning pile up on me, it makes me think that I'll never get it done, that it's this insurmountable task. So I have to kind of stay, I have to stay ahead of it to keep myself steady. So you may be that way too, but maybe you don't even realize it. But you can go into a room and just get bad vibes. So maybe just pay attention to that. Number five, I have to stay in balance. Everything in moderation. Anything that I do in excess, whether it's eating too many spicy foods or hitting the snooze button too many times, too many days in a row, or spending too much money, I'm always going to pay for it, and it'll always kind of drive me crazy. Our nervous systems rely on balance and homeostasis. So I have to pay attention to those kind of things. I mean, I can get kind of off to the extremes for a little while, but I know that I can't do it for extremely long periods of time before I start paying the price for it. Okay, number five, YouTube is the only social media platform that I use. And I'm not even going to really say a whole lot about this because, I mean, a lot has been said about social media. I've just seen how it can affect people, and I've seen and heard conversations on some of these platforms get really out of control, and I don't need that. So I'm not even going to get started with those platforms. That way I don't get addicted to them. Number six, I only watch one violent TV show at a time. Now, I know I kind of touched on a genre of horror movies and serial killers and all of that. Now, that I don't watch, but I do like some shows, especially some of the big saga type shows or fantasy type period dramas, Game of Thrones type of things. Uh, but there's a lot of violence in those kind of shows. And, I'm not going to watch Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad and Hannibal all at the same time. There's no way my nervous system can handle that much violence. There's only so much violence that we can watch. We're taking all of this in. So even though I do like a lot of those types of shows, I will only watch one at a time, and I'll give myself a break on that before I start another series that quite possibly does have a lot of violence in it. Number 7, I exercise every day, whether it's just a couple of minutes or just a walk, around the block. I try to do some exercise every day because exercise relieves stress. If I'm worried about something and I take a brisk walk or even do some flights of stairs, if the weather is not great outside, that always helps me. It kind of burns off some of that raw energy, and I kind of can think better. I even kind of talk to myself, when I walk sometimes. Always try to get exercise in every day. Now, number 8, and this one is very special to me, I use prayer, and I also pick out scriptures that deal with peace. And the Bible has a lot of scriptures related to peace. I use prayer to help me, every day, but especially to help me through those times when I feel like it's a little too chaotic in my life. But I have certain scriptures that are favorites of mine that I'm quite attached to, and I print them off and I tape them to my wall in my bedroom or wherever. And I'll look at those scriptures from time to time and read them out loud, and that always helps me. Okay, number 9, I like to watch meditation videos on YouTube. I like to put my headphones on before bed, get in bed, turn on some of the Honest Guys. They're my favorite meditation videos. There's something about his voice that is so soothing to me. So I love to watch their videos, especially. They have Party in the Shire videos. Those are probably my favorites. They have kind of a Lord of the Rings flavor to them, and they have everything. And of course, it's not just the Honest Guys. There are all kinds of people on YouTube that are making meditation videos that are really, really good. And if you can put the headphones on and block out the rest of the world, it's a great way to end the day and to fall asleep with. Okay, number 10. This one is a big favorite of mine as well, and it's paying attention to nature. Nature is always a cure-all for me, for many things, especially for my mental health. I have a bird feeder outside my kitchen window. I'll stand there for 5-10 minutes at a time and won't even realize it, watching those birds. They make me laugh, and I enjoy seeing them all throughout the year come. I'll also make a point to listen to the birds that are singing when I'm walking, because a lot of times we forget that they're even there. Just looking at the trees and just being in awe of their beauty will calm me down every time. Okay, 11. I have to remind myself to slow down. I can tend to get a real fast pace and get in a hurry, and that always gets me agitated. Even though I'm not really in a hurry, I must be thinking that I am, or thinking that I have a whole lot to do. So I have to slow myself down on purpose. I have to remind myself to slow down a lot of times when I'm eating. I have to remind myself to slow down a lot when I'm driving. Those two things tend to be really troublesome for me. I can get in a hurry real quick with those. So if I take notice of it and slow myself down, I can feel myself even out almost instantly. Okay, before I get to the last one on the list, if you like these types of videos, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. It's free and it would help my channel greatly and I would appreciate it. So number 12 on the list, I take a magnesium supplement before bed every night. Studies have shown that most Americans are deficient in magnesium, and it has to do with lots of things. The quality of the soil that we grow our foods in, the fact that we a lot of times don't eat the right foods, or we eat too many processed foods. If you're deficient in magnesium, you can have those negative effects of nervousness. You can have cramps in your legs or in your muscles, even digestive issues. So yeah, I take a supplement every night. Okay, I know I told you that that was the end of the list, but I do have two extra little things I want to throw in here. I didn't add them to the 12 because they're not things that I do on a regular basis. And they're just things that I like to do that are proactive. And I've found that if I'll schedule them in every so often, or, it's really helpful for me. And one is just taking some time, maybe on a day off or on the weekend, and getting close to water, whether it's a lake or a river or a stream or even the ocean if you live close enough to the beach. There are a lot of therapeutic benefits to just being close to water, and it really helps ground me. And another thing that I like to do, and that's I have a hammock and I like to take it to the park, take it and spend maybe half a day or a day just laying in the hammock and reading. And it's so relaxing. And it's a twofer if you can get the hammock close to the water, which is even better. But I know that you have things that you like, and if you'll just make sure to make time for those, it'll always be like a tonic for your nervous system and your mental state of mind. Now, I hope that my tips will help you in some way. I know that you probably have some good tips as well. And if you do, I would love for you to share them in the comments with us. So next, watch my video on tiny habits to boost your energy. I'll have the link at the end of this video. Have a great week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.